So welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to the Copado Community Day breakout session number 4, the solving Copado FAQs. Let's go to the next slide. So first of all, thank you to all our sponsors and to everyone that joined today. We hope you'll all learn a few things.
Yeah, you'll enjoy the session.
Yeah. So first of all, I'm Guillaume Loubier, Technical Lead Developer at Maximum Software Services. I'm also a Copado Champion for 2 years now, and Copado Mentor. I'm really active on the community, and the session we have today is like to answer some of the questions we saw in the community, and we have also Hari.
Yeah, welcome everyone to the session. So I'm Hariprasath. I'm a senior developer and DevOps lead at Maximum Software Service. As said, we are discussing something, some questions that are repeatedly asked in community, Copado community, and like Guillaume, I'm also multiple time Copado champion and active member of Copado community.
All right. So for the agenda, we'll have a small introduction, and then we'll cover some of the things you need to know as a Copado user. So every Copado user should know when you use the tool. And we'll also cover some of the things you should know more in depth as a developer or tech lead. So there's nothing fancy there, but just the basics that you need to know to do a good job using Copado.
Yeah.
And so all of this will be quick. We'll quickly go to the demos. So we have 2 demos today, where we'll cover some scenarios that are painful or that can cause issues. So we'll have demos about this, and we also have a Q&A. So feel free to post any questions in the chat during the session, and we'll try to answer, or eventually we'll answer. So feel free to post any questions you have.
And first of all, as we all know, what is Copado? So Copado is #1 DevOps tools for Salesforce and some of the other clouds as well, right? So as a user, as a Copado user, you should know the basic understanding of DevOps and Copado to have a proper Salesforce release practice. So the best thing is you need to know the existing out-of-the-box functionalities to use the Copado tool properly, to innovate something useful on top of it. And the next slide. Yeah. So what should all Copado users know? So it's like a broader questions that all the developers need before doing or before using Copado tool. So the first thing is all the developers should know how they can review their commits, and how they can review the feature branches and the promotion branches before doing the deployment.
And they should have access to as well.
The first thing is they should at least read access to the Git repository before doing anything, right? Otherwise they can't check their commits and promotion or feature branch. They just do the deployment and everything will break. So that's the first thing every developer needs to know. And the basic understanding. So you have a different kind of functionalities in Copado, retry only, recommit, or the recreate the feature branch, and credentials. So sharing the credentials, and why you need to do the full profile commits, and why we need the destructive change. Everything you should know, the basic things you should know. And also the manual changes. So this is like we always having these kind of questions. We have this kind of question in community every day. They are doing manual changes in the destination, or to just deploy the changes. So this needs to be this need not to be happen, because since this will break your pipeline. And also collaboration is a must. Otherwise, you can't sing your, like pipeline. But we are not going to discuss, like this stuff here. So you can, find a lot of ton of, articles in Copado community, even the doc, everywhere you could see, or else you could ask your questions in Copado community, and then the expert will explain to you the concepts and stuff, right?
Yeah. So everyone on the team, every people that uses Copado, you can subscribe to the Copado community and post any questions there. We have an active community, so
yeah,
don't be shy. You can register and post questions there. The next thing is about what a developer or a team lead should know. So Hari talked about the admin or like the basic users. And for the developer, you should know a little bit more. So you need a little bit knowledge, some knowledge, about Git, so that you can at least review your commits correctly, and also your pull request. Some knowledge in VS Code. So if you like, it's a good idea to set up your VS Code with all the Salesforce tools and extensions. And Git, so you can link your Git to VS Code, and we'll cover that in the demo in a few minutes. And also, it's really important to keep Git and the org and your Salesforce org in sync, so that you don't lose anything when you deploy, or like you're not causing any issues like conflicts or stuff like that. So it's really important to keep everything in sync. And again, in the demo, we'll talk about that, how to make sure to keep your things in sync. So let's switch to switch. Yeah, but
we'll talk something on what we are going to do. So this is the first demo that we are going to do, like renaming a record type. So why it's really important, right? Why it's a big question on renaming a record type is as a demo, right? So
it's renaming and also deleting. Part of it can be used to delete a record type.
So you can't simply, so if you are renaming a record type or like an API name, it's like the metadata API, think like a new metadata. And you should, like deploy the new record type as new metadata, and you should delete the previous record type. So with this demo, we'll be showing like how developer could use Copado VS Code and Git to rename a record type to sync the Git and org.
Yeah.
So I think we can share the screen.
Yeah, we'll switch to Hari's screen.
Yeah. So like renaming a record type is not just like an update through the metadata API. You should create a new record. So you have to deploy like a new record type, and you have to delete the previous record type to sync org and Git. But you will be having issues while like deploy or deleting a record type, but because like metadata API won't allow you to delete a record type. So what we need to do, so how we can achieve this using Copado, that's what we are going to do. So we have a pipeline with two developer org and a UAT and a production. Do we need to show this? No, right? No, it's fine. So this is my developer org. You can see I've already renamed the rename the custom record type to third party. So this is the UAT. Here you can see like we have two different record types, and the business asked us to rename this custom record type to third party. So the first step is, this is not just an update, right? When you do deployment, so it's an update of record type. So what you need to do is you have to find the reference of record type customer to update the references. So how you can find the references? You have to use VS Code. It's a simple way you can find the references. So I have this Git repository, local Git repository of the pipeline or the metadata. So you can use search functionalities. So I just searched customers, or you could use make use of Redis if you need to sort you can search customer, or if you need to sort out the searches, you could use these regex. And I've just searched the customer.
Yeah, so this scenario is more for a developer.
Yeah,
because you need VS Code and a proper setup.
Yeah, proper setup. It's an easy thing, right? Otherwise, you can't simply go to a Git repository and do these things. So you have to set up in your local to do this. So I just searched the customer, a reference. I found this used in FlexiPage. There's a filter using this record type, and the layout assignment, and the list view we use, the list views needs to be removed. And also there is a permission set for access to customers, so I have to delete this one. I have to rename it, which means the record type, since this is again the record type change. And the layout assignments, and I have to change a value customer to third party. So what I can do is, once I found the reference, I can simply go to my org. So this is my developer org. I just changed this one to third party, and I removed I created a new permission set, as well as the page layout, and everything is created. Then I do a commit here. You can see I have two commits. The first commit is the creation of new record type and the update of the reference. So I've just committed this one. I just committed. Then I have to delete the existing record type and the layouts and everything. So I have another commit, which is a destructive commit. I could show that as well, the second commit. So this is a destructive commit that I made to delete the record type, the customer record type. So Copado will eventually do the reference deletion and the reference update when you do the destructive commit. So I'm good with my user story. So just committed the new changes, and I deleted the existing record type. Then I need to,
But it's important to know that if you use Copado if you do a descriptive change of the record type only, Copado will remove a lot of reference, but not all of them. So that's why we're also deleting the descriptive. We're doing a descriptive change with the page layout and permission sets and a few more things, because we want to make sure that we fix all those references in the Git.
Yeah, that's what this VS Code is, helping us to do these references, to deploy and to do a destructive commit. So then once I do the commit, I'm just trying to deploy my user story. I was just trying to validate my user story. So when I go to this validation, this is the validation. You could see that the delete metadata step is failing because we can't delete a record type through the API, so metadata API. So what we need to do?
So maybe one important thing to note there is all the limitation we have with the metadata API from Salesforce, we have the same in Copado. So we can't delete a record type with the metadata API, even if you don't use Copado. That's not possible. So this needs to be manual. So
this needs to
the same limitations that apply to Copado.
So we can see that the developers are doing manual changes, right? even without syncing the org with the branches. They just manually, remove or rename the rename the record type in the destination, but they are not syncing the JIT, right? Yeah. That's what we are going to show, how you can sync repository with the destination of like UAT org.
So like if your developer only commit the new record type, thinking this will update everything and sync, it might be fine in Git, not in Git in Salesforce, but in Git you'll still see the old record type there in Git, and it will for sure cause issues later when deploying some other user stories. Yeah. So that's why it needs to be in sync.
So like once we have these two commits, like one commit and the destructive commit, everything will be good when you check the promotion branch. So that will be, so I'll show that in a few minutes. So how you can pass this validation? So that's the first question, right? So you can't deploy, you can't delete this record type using metadata API. So what you need to do is you just remove this this metadata from the step. You just remove the record type and you just save it, and you just deploy.
So sometime for this workaround, the Copado users, they might not have access to delete stuff there, so they'll need to ask the release manager to help them with that. But like it doesn't happen often, so yeah, that's good.
We'll see like this in some time, but so we've started the deployment, the validation deployment, and we'll show you another the same user story is promotion, to check the promotion branch, right, to see whether this is fine or not. So this is the promotion for this user story. So that's the validation is happening here. So we eventually get the results for that validation, but we'll see how you can check the pull request while you are doing the promotion. So this is the deployment record for this promotion with this user story, and you just click the pull request in the deployment. So it will show you how you are going to change. So you can see like the flexi pages, you are updating the flexi pages fine, and you can see that the layout got changed, renamed. Even we update the we create a new third-party account layout, so it will automatically rename it. Likewise, everything is happened like this, and the record type also, you can see the permission set name got changed, and the record type eventually changed, and everything is good. So the pull request is good, then you are good, and when you go and see, you can see that this validation got succeed, and you are good with the promotion. Since you can't delete the previous record type using metadata API, you should have a manual task to the release manager to manually rename this record type in the destination org to sync the org and the JIT branch. So on my side, as a developer or a user, I'm good with my user story, so it's got validated. So I'll give to my a team lead or the release manager to deploy this.
Yeah, so we can switch to my screen now. Yeah. Okay, so I just opened the promotion on this user story. So you see this is the task that Hari created to rename the record type, and there we see just some steps how to rename. So go in account manager, account, record type, customer is it, and then we update the API name. Only the API name needs to be updated. Like the label, it will be updated with the commit anyway. So the same API name that is really important. And there's also this thing there, also important. like we do that sometime when we know there are some issues with the metadata API, things that we can deploy, but we still want to commit. So in this case, this is the record type. We can't delete using the metadata. So we just have a small step in deployment, update, delete metadata step, remove account customer record type from the delete step.
Yeah, I think it's only for the record type, right? For the other scenarios, like if you need to change the field API name, then we don't need to record the field API.
Yeah,
it's a special case on metadata APIs, since you can't deploy, you can't delete the record type using metadata API.
I thought I was plugged in. Okay, I'll go quick. Okay, so yeah, I'll just fix this step now. Can you check my?
Yeah.
It's plugged in, but the power is not okay. Okay, so I just deleted the record type from the delete step, and now I could just deploy. I'll skip that part for now because we don't have much time today. But yeah, so I would complete this step, and then I have my pull request step. So I would do the same as Hari did earlier. Would go back on the promotion, pull request there, and just do my review like we just did earlier. If everything is good, then we're good to go. I would complete the pull request step there, and then promotion will go, and also the delete metadata. So that's, yeah, so like I said earlier, we can use this, some of this to delete record types as well. You just need to, you can just skip the renaming part, but like you can use almost the same workaround to delete record types.
Yeah.
So we're good with this demo. We can switch quickly to the slide, and we'll just go to the next demo. Okay, so the next demo, sorry. Okay, next demo is about retrieve only. So whenever we commit something, we want to limit the conflicts we might have with other user stories, and the retrieve only flag is there for that. So for this demo, we need to fix the access to the partner account. So like the partner account record type got deployed in another user story, and it's missing some field level security on the fields on the partner layout. It's also missing the page layout assignment, and we also want to remove one pick list value from a pick list. So we'll go with that. And as a best practice tip, we'll try to use the retrieve only the more we can, so we will limit the conflicts with other people's work. So let's switch to my screen again. Okay, well, I won't go in the change in Salesforce because we're not covering that part here. We're talking about Copado, but I show my commit. So if I just, this is my user story, I'll just show my commit. So first of all, this requires only one commit, and you'll see when I use recommit, it just takes everything I had already committed. So we'll just look at this. Okay, so there we see I've used the retrieve only flag, and this one is really important. It might be hard to understand what it does at first, but it's really important to use, because sometimes in this case, I'm just fixing the field level security on those fields. So I just need to retrieve only, but I can't commit that alone, as you know. So I need to select my permission set as well. So there's a permission set for this. So with this, I'm giving access to those fields. Well, I'm committing those fields on the permission set. We see those profiles there, but there's no change on that. This change were only on the permission set.
The layout assignment maybe?
Yeah. So the next thing is the page layout assignment. So again, I'm not doing any change in the page layout itself. I'm just updating the page layout assignment. So I don't want to I don't want to commit this page layout because it might take some change because page layouts are like specials.
Yeah, it's like like if you simply commit the layouts or any fields, like it will carry a lot of changes of others or like other user stories, right? So and also you don't need to deploy the complete metadata to the destination of, it's just retrieving the access, right? That's the reason we have retrieve only.
Yeah.
So but most of the people or the developer doesn't know why the retrieve only is so important, so they just commit the user like the metadata, and they don't check the feature branch of promotion branch or anything, they just deploy, right? So this will cause a lot of merge conflicts, and additional changes, and your pipeline will be
it's just harder
broken. Everything will be broken. So you should clearly know why we need to do the commit and why we need to do retrieve only commit.
Yeah, and like for page layouts specifically, whenever you commit page layout, sometimes it retrieves the quick actions in different order. That's not Copado. That's not a Copado issue. That's the metadata API. Or maybe sometime there's an update in Salesforce and they add some buttons.
Yeah.
So like you'll be committing changes that are not yours, and this may cause conflict with other user stories. So in my case, I just want to set the page layout assignment on those profiles. So just retrieve only is needed. And we also have the record type is somewhere.
So you can select the type.
Yeah. Account. It's a partner. Okay, so the partner record type is also committed because I had to remove some pick list from a field. So for this, I just commit the record type with the field. It was the account type. This one.
Can you simply show them the record, feature branch?
Yeah, I'll show that quickly. So that's my commit. And now if I just switch to, we don't have much time left. So if I look at the Git, so once I do my commit, I need to review in Git again. So there I see this is a record type. If I open this, I'll eventually see the record type partner. So we're just removing the competitor from this pick list. And then we're adding some security on those fields and the access to partner permission set. And next thing is the page layout assignment. So it was the wrong page layout assigned previously. We're fixing that, and that's how. So we're not deploying any pick list or anything. It's just
the object and the permission that and the profile. So if you commit the other, like metadata, it'll deploy all the stuff, right? And it will break a lot of break all your like pipeline and the branch.
You can switch back to the slide. So we're done with the presentation. If you have any questions, feel free to post them. We created a post in the Copado community.
So you can just
best practice group.
Yeah, you can just scan this code and ask your questions. So if you have any doubts, we'll there for you to answer any of your doubts, questions, or anything. We'll be more active on the community, so you can get it answered. So is there any questions there? You don't see the questions.
We don't have any time, so yeah, post your questions in the best practice or LinkedIn. And yeah, finally, thank you everyone for attending, and we hope you learn a few things from us.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
Have a good day. Bye.